Okay, we're going to get started. This is really extra special for me because I get to sit down. I've been standing for 3 days. This feels wonderful. It's really good. So this is our panel on music accessibility. We do have some video in our video. We have some videos in our video. So just want to let the sound guys know that there'll be some video coming to them.
And audio.
And audio from the video. That's right. It's audio and video brought together. That's why we have an audio and video team. All right, let's get started. So here are our music accessibility panelists. We have Haim Kairy, and I will introduce him and what he does in a second. And Tobi Hunke from AbletonDrummer.com. That's right.
Got to write this time, eh?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Okay. This is the way we roll. It's jazz. It's improvisation. It has a couple of wrong notes, but then we fix it really quickly.
There are no wrong notes.
Exactly.
Well,
Jazz.
that's your job. We'll talk about that in a second. Yes. So one of the things that we wanted to do here was we wanted to express our thanks for our new friends over at Ramped. Yeah, give them a round of applause. Oh, well, it looks like we have a special guest headed our way. And so, please welcome to the stage Lachi, and we'll get her microphone set up in a second, and we'll introduce everybody. We're going to take our time, but I did want to give a shout out. Ramped has been a wonderful partner to us here at this NAMM show. They're helping us in our initiative to bring the power of music to everybody, no matter how unique they are, because everybody is unique. Everybody's a snowflake. Everybody's different. And that's a beautiful thing. We celebrate our differences. That's what we do. So I did want to cover some very basic things because, a lot of people don't. What is accessibility, right? What does that mean? Inclusive design makes a product better for everybody. And we'll show you a bunch of examples of how that works. You need to make sure that your accessibility features have easy access. Like that's almost like some kind of weird thing. It's like, yeah, you have to make your accessibility features accessible. Okay, that's a good idea. You need to avoid combination button presses and clicks. Everybody likes to have multiple button presses and clicks because it makes it so much easier not to get anything done. So, yeah. Look, the reality of it is that when you make a product and it is easier for somebody who has visual impairments or some kind of neuro impairment, you're making that product better for everybody. And so, yeah, that's an important thing. So I wanted to do very quickly mostly for the video folks out there. This is a picture, and I learned that you have to describe these things because not everybody, like Ellis is sitting in the audience, and Ellis can't see this lovely picture of small. Hey, Ellis. Of a small Japanese girl. She's probably about 4 years old, and she is actually experiencing the joy of making music by moving her hand over a MIDI blaster that is hooked up to Tobi's software Connect through MIDI, so she can't make a mistake. She's 4 years old, and music, a musical instrument for a 4-year-old can be a terrifying and intimidating thing. We don't want that. We want somebody to come up to a musical instrument and just be able to play and sound good right away. And that's what we're focused on with Connect through MIDI. This is a picture of our display, which is right in back here, and you can go try it out. It is pretty amazing, and we'll get into the details of it in a second. But it features an Arcana strum from Haim Kairy, and it features Connect through MIDI, and then a whole bunch of cool MIDI controllers, because with Connect through MIDI, you can connect up anything and it will work. So I'm going to play a little video, and hopefully you will be able to hear it.
You folks in headphones will hear it. We up here will not hear it.
Find out.
Right?
It's not running yet.
There we go.
Candle is the feeling of being alive, the energy that empowers others, and something that is shared around the world and brings people together.
It's not often actually that musicians get to collaborate with technologists at this level and with each other.
I think it's really important to work towards a world where disabled people and musicians are involved in musical instrument development right at the research stage.
This is a project really about bringing people together from different backgrounds, different cultures, different professional expertises, and it's something that is allowing us to come up with some really exciting new ideas.
それぞれの国はそれぞれの国の良さがあるんですけれども、やっぱりそのイギリスで感じたのはすごくアートとしての音楽の捉え方がすごく私たちにとって勉強になることと、
Some people cannot play due to their abilities, but if we can focus on their character or individual and we can customize the instruments for themselves, then they can join the session by using that instruments.
There's so much kind of fuel and fire and passion in the room that it makes it really, really exciting. And you know that what you make isn't necessarily going to be the perfect thing that you always wanted to make. But actually, that's quite a freeing thing.
It's an ongoing process to unpick, what do we mean by music? What do we mean by technology? Where is the interface between the two? How can we use that to create powerful experiences and to tell stories?
What we're doing in a very gentle, kind and compassionate way is ensuring that the voices of disabled people are being heard, not disabled people being passive recipients of something that Sony does for us, but actually in on the co-design. It's about disabled people being leaders.
This is really a unique moment when we are suggesting each other what could be the possibility for the future accessibilities.
私は普段いろんな人に対して作ってるんだけれども、今回は、スティーブのために作ってるっていうのは実は初めての体験で、これでスティーブのために作ることでスティーブが満足してくれたら、もしかしたらもっと他の人も喜ばせることができるかもしれないっていうふうに、期待してます。
I see this as pioneering work. A new discovery. And new creative possibilities.
Restrictions and constraint is the best source of creativity, and I guess these guys have it embedded in themselves that they have those constraints and things they have to compose with, so they can probably take this technology where no one else can. So
I think we're realising something quite fundamental today about how the future could be. It could be like this. The world could be more accessible. The world could be more inclusive. That's what it's about. It's about good music.
So the person in that video, the last person you saw, his name is John Kelly. And I got the wonderful experience of going to the Able Assembly at Berklee College of Music.
Sony.
And John was there, and he played a performance. And then he's an Irishman, So at the end of the night, we're in Boston, and what are you going to do with an Irishman in Boston? You go to an Irish pub and you take over the pub. And John showed up in his wheelchair. We put him up. So just to explain what John does is he has a guitar which was specially built for him called the Telecaster. It was built by Drake Music. And what he does is something that I could never do. He plays simultaneously a keyboard with one of his limbs, which is severely disabled, you can see. And then he strums the guitar with his other hand. So he's playing the keyboard and the guitar at the same time and generating the chords. John actually performed at the opening ceremonies for an Olympic event at Wembley Stadium and brought the house down. I have that video. I'm going to put that into the next presentation we do because it's pretty amazing. But John is a great example of something that
the 2025 MIDI Innovation Awards are shining a light on accessibility, celebrating groundbreaking tools that empower everyone to create music. This year's finalists are truly inspiring. The Arcana Strum helps learners connect with music like never before. Its intuitive design makes it easy to play chords with a single touch, even if you have physical challenges. Connect through MIDI allows anyone to instantly experience the joy of making music together. Connect any MIDI instrument and jam right away, always in key and without making any mistakes. Cosmo opens new worlds of creativity with accessible sound exploration. Its tactile design is perfect for therapeutic and educational play, encouraging discovery. These MIDI innovations share one mission: breaking down barriers, fostering inclusion, and making music truly universal for everyone.
So I'm going to turn it over to Haim, and he's going to talk a little bit about the Arcana Strum and how it works and what it does and how he came through this journey to develop an instrument like this.
Yeah, thanks, Athan. Thanks, everybody. So a few years ago, a friend of mine, a music teacher, was approached by a 12-year-old girl with cerebral palsy with very limited movements in her hands and fingers. And she came to his school and wanted to learn guitar. And unfortunately, she can't play guitar, and her teacher was heartbroken. But he saw that this girl had real passion and real musical talent. And he saw that her control over a motorized wheelchair was very accurate and fine. And he thought, why don't we do this kind of a hackathon and create an instrument for Gil based on what she can already control, which is a joystick and a few buttons. So we created like a very crude, big prototype. And after a couple of months, she was actually starting to play music and got on stage with her class that were already learning guitar, piano, flutes, and other instruments that people with disabilities unfortunately cannot play. And after that, this was a pivotal moment for us, and we set out for extensive research, worked with people from ages 5 to 95 with various kinds of abilities and disabilities, physical disabilities, cognitive disabilities, autism, and created the instrument that you're going to see now. So the video. So the faces on those musicians is what really drives us forward. And one more thing on MIDI. When we started developing this instrument, we had, as a small startup, many challenges, hardware challenges, software challenges, and choosing MIDI as our communication platform was a no-brainer. It kept us focused, with our resources and efforts focused on just making the instrument inclusive, creating these accessories to make anyone able to play music. So without MIDI, I don't think we could achieve this instrument.
So, one of the things that I learned at the Able Assembly is we take a lot of things for granted, and so one of the things that happened actually with audio, digital audio workstations, is they got very focused on eye candy, being visually impressive. Last time I checked, eye candy doesn't mean a lot to Lachi or to Ellis Hall or to Stevie Wonder.
Or to audiophiles.
Or to audiophiles. Yeah, there you go. Yes, yes. And so, one of the things that I learned at the Able Assembly is we take it for granted that people are going to be watching the video. And I'll give you two very interesting examples. In the Sony video, that was by the way a hackathon that was done by Drake Music in the UK with Sony game controllers, and the designers from Sony Games came together and they worked with Drake Music to develop accessible musical instruments. Well, there was a portion of that video where they were speaking Japanese and it had subtitles. And I was like, oh, I want to run over and whisper in Lachi's ear because I happen to speak Japanese and I wanted to do the
Don't worry, I'm fluent in every language.
You go, girl.
Just messing.
And then the other thing is, when in that video there was amazing videos, and I'll just do a very short description for everybody here who is visually challenged. In that video, it showed different people with very different physical disabilities playing the Arcana strum. So, for example, there was one woman who could only move her leg. And she is actually, there's a strap that goes onto the Arcana strum so that she could strum the guitar with her foot, because she literally was paralyzed from the waist up. So she can't move her arms. That doesn't do her any good. There was also a couple of videos similar to Jason Barnes. Jason Barnes was up here at another event that we had. Jason was a drummer, and he was in an electrical accident, and he lost his right arm. And so he had a prosthetic arm, and there was, in that video, there was somebody who had a prosthetic arm, and they were able to fit that prosthetic arm to the Arcana strum. So, this is the point with accessibility. The simple point is one size does not fit all. You have to design the instrument to be flexible. You have to design the instrument to a variety of different accessibility challenges. And the other thing about accessibility is there are all kinds of accessibility challenges. Lachi, at the accessibility event that we did the other day, you were talking about like some accessibility challenges that people kind of don't think of. Could you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, a lot of folks don't, when they think disability, they think wheelchairs, they think canes, they think hearing aids. But the truth of the matter is the disability umbrella is very large. Yes, it can include physical and sensory and other types of disabilities that are very apparent, but it also includes non-apparent disabilities. Like, folks don't recognize that asthma fits into disability, arthritis, tinnitus, social anxiety. Disability can be temporary, breaking an arm or a leg. You can age into disability. Disability can include depression and bipolar. Disability can include so many different things, and it can include food allergies. So even with that little bit I just said, I'm pretty sure everybody hearing me speak falls into somewhere. It can include chronic back and muscle pains, right? Who doesn't have that, even if it's just temporary? So when we think about disability, it's not all Sarah McLachlan eyes of an angel, right? It's not all of the things that we think of as pity. And if you think about it, that those things that which I call Hollywood disability, we think that that's the rule, but it's actually the exception. Most folks, including yourself out here, identifies with disability identity or neurodivergence somewhere in your life, and you don't recognize it. And so while I have the mic, thank you, what RAMPD does, Recording Artists and Music Professionals with Disabilities, which is rampd.org, we're here to break the stigma using music and culture. And so we are a consultancy group. So we consult with all of the major giants in music to be more inclusive and accessible in their tech and in the way that they move within the industry, whether it's the Grammys or Netflix or Live Nation. But we're also a networking group. So if you are a person who identifies in any way, you're a networking group. So come and join and become a member. And we do everything from networking events to community engagement to career opportunities, development opportunities. But most importantly, folks not feeling so isolated and alone, especially in the professional space of music. So come see us at rampd.org so that we can be the people that folks like Arcana or MIDI or all these folks that you saw in those videos call on to be present during the design phase. So thank you.
Give a round of applause. The other thing that I will say, I had cataract surgery. Right? And that's a perfect example of what you did. So, like for 2 weeks, I couldn't see anything.
Right.
That was very temporary,
Right.
but it was a great experience for me because I'm working on this music accessibility stuff, and all of a sudden I realized, oh yeah, okay, that's what it's like.
Sure. Exactly. You had a temporary situation and now you get to say, hey, I get a little bit, at least a piece of what they're going through, and it allows me to like think differently. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I think the point is everybody has to think about their own personal experiences and realize that they have probably experienced some kind of accessibility challenge. I mean, everybody does that. The other thing that I wanted you to talk about, if you would, is you talked about something really interesting in your life about masking, and I think that was a really strong statement. Could you do that again?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm also an artist and I'm Grammy nominated, humble brag, this year. So pray for me. Um, and, while I was coming up, I had much better vision. And I would go into these studios and I would trip over wires, or I would go to these like galas and people would wave at me, these big executives who want me to like have a deal. And I wouldn't wave back because I couldn't see them, but I didn't have a cane. I didn't have anything to indicate that I was losing my vision because I was masking. I was what I called sighted passing, trying my best to look sighted so that I could just fit in as much as possible. And all it did was take up energy in my brain and take away from opportunities because people were avoiding me because they knew something was wrong and they didn't know what it was. And I was trying so hard to mask. And then one day I said, I need to stop masking because I need to just do better in these studios and at these galas for myself, for my own career. So I started telling people about my vision loss so I could ask for accommodations. And when I did, I started getting better in the studio. I started recognizing, using my cane, and people came to me, and I never missed another deal making handshake or wave. And then I had this epiphany. I was like, Lachi, because that's my name. I was like, Lachi, you are a professional and you're getting all these things. It's because you stopped masking. You can't be the only person masking. Everybody's got to be going. There's got to be so many people going through the same thing you're doing and trying so hard to fit in, but they should be able to be liberated just like you so they can give people their full self and do the best at their career in music and start to gain financial stability without having to mask. And that was how RAMPD, RAMPD.org was formed.
Could you spell that one more time?
RAMPD.org. Go see us. We're right over there.
So now I get the unfortunate job of talking about some technical stuff after that passionate statement from Lachi.
May I ask a favor? Can I actually go down to change for my performance?
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Give a round of applause to Lachi. She's going to be performing later on. You don't want to miss it. We have a number of wonderful ramped artists who are going to be performing, and we've got a special guest who is joining us. Mr. Ellis Hall is also going to be performing at the end of the day for us. So if you've ever seen Ellis, stick around. So we are the MIDI Association, and I want to give a shout out to Mike Kent because this was his idea. Come on up, Mike. You can say hello at the very least. We were talking about how we could actually have a positive impact on people who have various kinds of disability challenges. And so Mike came up with this really interesting idea. Well, we have this new thing called MIDI 2.0, and so we can actually have new MIDI messages. So what if we had a MIDI message that would allow us to send text over a MIDI wire? So Mike, tell us a little bit about what your idea is.
Okay, so my idea is in this diagram here. The idea is in MIDI 2.0, we can define all kinds of new messages to express things that were not in MIDI 1.0. So one of the things we could do is send text messages. And so from a hardware device over the USB connection to the computer, we could send MIDI 2.0 messages that are the text that relate to the product. And that MIDI message then could go into a utility software that converts the MIDI information and talks to the text-to-speech engine. And so then if you press a button and it's octave up, then the computer could say, you just turned on the octave up function. And so the manufacturer of the device can then put into the device the text that explains and helps the user. And this is fantastic for people with visual impairment, but it's also great for any user to have that kind of feedback come back to them as they're changing things. Maybe as they turn up the volume, it tells you, you're at volume 5, you're at volume 6. So whatever feedback that the manufacturer thinks is useful to the user as kind of a help can be sent as plain text from the device. Perhaps it's a device with a display. There's a lot of MIDI products with a little display with a menu system. So you press a menu button, and then you go down and it goes through 4 or 5 selections. So as you go through those 4 or 5 selections, it could read out the names of those selections. You press enter, it goes to another sub-menu, and those could be read out. So those kinds of functions could be sent
or you could send it to a device like that.
Right.
Pocket Braille reader.
All right, so this text could go to that text-to-speech engine, but it could go other places as well. So a lot of operating systems have large text displays, and so large text could come up, or you could send something out to a Braille reader that's also connected to the computer. So this is an interface from MIDI devices to these assistive engines that are out there. And these exist already in the operating system. A lot of manufacturers are not building in this kind of functionality into the keyboard or into the drum machine because that's difficult. And in some cases, they're not even sure what they should do, let alone how to do it. And so as the MIDI Association, I believe if we write a specification that says this is what you're supposed to do and here's how you do it, then this could be a common thing and it makes it a lot easier for all manufacturers to work the same way. And it gives them guidance on how to do this and what to do. And so that's the goal that I proposed for the MIDI Association. Let's build a specification around this. And it seems like I've got the support of the MassSig special interest group.
Right. So in the interest of time, we got a lot of stuff that we got to get to. I'm I'm going to play, hopefully I will be able to do this. I'm going to play this very short clip. That is Stevie Wonder experiencing the joy of Connect through MIDI the other day. Stevie Wonder stopped by the booth, and he found it really amazing how we had put this thing together. You got to keep it short.
Okay.
But talk a little bit about Connect through MIDI, please.
To not bore you, I give you a practical example. Stevie could play some chords. 3 kids could play an oddball, which is just a ball, and just play with it, and it creates a trigger. And one kid could play a melody, one kid could play a bass line, and one could play an arpeggiator. And depending on the chord Stevie would play live, the melody would change and would fit into the right harmonics. So there is no need for understanding of pitch or music theory. You can just go and start playing depending on the setup you're gonna pick. Yeah.
All right.
Enough?
I don't actually think we have any time for questions and answers, but I do want to thank the panelists. So give them a round of applause. Stick around because the next thing we are going to do is we're going to do a quick sound check. And then we are going to have performance after performance after performance after performance. And then, my fine friends from NAMM, we will be done and we will go home.